Hey there, everybody. How you doing? This is Steve Bazat at IQMS. I run the marketing department here. Thanks for everybody for attending. This webinar is focused on people who have Sage systems. Those can run from small accounting systems up to ERP systems. We see a good amount of business where people are graduating from Sage to a more complete ERP system, so we put these webinars on periodically to address those needs. Russell Clement, who is a senior sales executive here, is going to conduct today's session. First, he'll do a brief overview of IQMS, not too much on that topic, and then just dive into a good solid system overview. And then if you have further interest, you will get hold of us and we'll give you a more complete workup on the system and what IQMS is all about. So Russell, take over, please. You're on.
Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for taking the time with us this afternoon. As Steve mentioned, I am a sales executive at IQMS, and today what we'll do is a brief overview of IQMS as a company, very quickly with 2 slides there, and then we will jump into the system to show you actual software, hopefully get a quick overview so you can see sort of how the system operates, a look and feel, and how it navigates, and then we'll hit on some of the features that a lot of our Sage conversions find fairly interesting. So I have been with IQMS for a couple of years, as Steve mentioned, have done some Sage implementations or conversions, on the consulting side, so spent a few years doing that. One of the things that comes up there a lot is, what does it look like? How hard is that process? We're very adept at it, getting the data out of Sage, bringing it into IQMS, and then there's a lot of features that we'll talk about today that make that process even easier. So a little bit of history about IQMS. We have been in business for 26 years, headquartered in Paso Robles, California, and have domestic offices in Chicago and Charlotte. We are a manufacturing-specific ERP, so that's all that we do. Our customers are all manufacturers. We don't deal with insurance and retail and those types of things. So very focused on a specific industry, and then we'll talk about that a little bit further today. So jump right in. Here's my PowerPoint. Okay. All right, so the first slide we'll talk about today is what I call the IQMS Universe, and this is everything that we sell. Okay, so I said that we're a manufacturing ERP. One of the things that makes us very different from a lot of our competitors, and specifically Sage, is that everything that you see on the screen here is developed in one database. So we're fully integrated, a fully native system. We have a lot of functionality. It's manufacturing specific. Specifically manufacturing execution system, which is machine monitoring. We have a lot of integrated modules with the quality, integrated modules with warehouse management, B2B portals and e-commerce and those types of things. All of that's developed in the same system. So when we talk about coming off of Sage, which traditionally has been an accounting package, one of the real benefits is that everything is in one place. So everyone has one version of the truth. Everyone sees the same data updated in real time. As one person makes one change, everyone in the organization sees that information at the same time. So that's one of the big features that we see. We do, like I said, have integrated quality, which is also something that's a big piece of our software offering. We have a couple of different things that make that very unique. So we have the full suite from MRB deviations, corrective actions, and then also into kind of the automotive and medical industries where we go with APQPs and PPAPs and CAPAs and those types of things. And then the other thing that makes us very unique is the fully native manufacturing execution system. So we've actually developed all of that on our own. A lot of our competition goes out and buys those packages or kind of works in a third party. And so anytime you do that, you're connecting two databases and trying to manage 2 different data flows, and there's a lot of different batch processing and those types of things. So for as much as possible, we've removed the third party there and made everything real in one system, so that all the data flows back and forth. Anytime we talk about a new system and kind of getting data in real time. Everyone's interested in knowing how we can access the system. So this is our last slide we'll talk about pretty quickly. What it really does is just gives you a feel for the different ways that you can interact with IQMS. Okay, so in the top left-hand portion of the screen, you'll see what we call Smart Page. Smart Page is the interface that our enterprise users, our front office users, kind of our users will use. And the idea here is that we will consolidate all of the relevant data that you need to make business decisions into one place, right? So you can see this is out in sort of a quadrant view, and we'll talk about how to lay this out later in the demo, but you can have things like a calendar, the modules that you may use on a daily basis, different speedometers or gauges on the screen as well, and all of that data is, again, live in real time. So, you know, these speedometers may be giving you live data, reporting out, you know, green, if it's green, everything is good to go. If it's low, there may be a warning that you need to look into. If it's red, you know, you've got a major issue on the floor. We can see things like, you know, all of our customer calls or all of our internal meetings and those types of things on a review here, and then access all of the different modules that we may use on a daily basis in one screen. So the idea is that we get everything in one place. We don't want you jumping from module to module to module, to screen to screen to screen, to see the things that you need to run your business. All right, so we'll actually see Smart Page here in just a second, so you'll get a better feel for what that looks like. Again, the idea is it's all in one place. And then we also have the ability to have a shop floor view. And the shop floor view is a scaled down version of Smart Page. The idea here is that we want everything that has to do with making parts and nothing else. So we remove kind of the noise. You know, there's no sales order information. There's no accounting information here. Everything in the shop view is centered around production. So we want this to be a very intuitive interface. It's big buttons. It's big pictures. It's easy to use. We know that English is not always the first language spoken on the floor. Sometimes the level of user on the floor is not the same as our front office users. So we want to be able to bring people into the floor, integrate them into the system very quickly, and then have them be able to do their jobs. So the things that they can do here are report production, report downtime, enter rejects and scrap, start the next job, do those types of things so that we're getting, again, the good data from the floor in as real time as possible and as accurately as possible. The cool thing, again, is that it's color-coded. You'll notice there's a green bar here. At the top, green tells me that we're good. We're running on standard cycle. If it was red, it'd tell me we're running too slow. If it's black, it tells me we're running too fast. Yellow may tell me that it's down. There are a number of ways that we can alert you to what's happening on the floor here. And then we also have, you know, reporting capability here. So a lot of our customers push quality alerts to the floor, or they may have a binder that hangs on the machine where they're making notes about setups or making notes about how a job is running. All of that is pulled into the the shop floor interface as well, so that we can record that data. Everyone's on the same page as we go from shift to shift. You know, that data is kind of updated live, and everyone is on the same page all the time. So this is really production-centric. We want all of our operators on the same page at their machines making parts as much as possible. And then we also have the Android apps, the smartphone apps. As a salesperson, I use these on a daily basis. It gives me the ability to access the system from wherever I am. So, you know, everyone is connected to their smartphones today. Most of us are mobile throughout the workday. So we need the ability to see data, the ability to be connected even when we're not physically in the plant. And that's what the smartphone apps give you the ability to do. So we have a full CRM suite of apps, and then also apps that give you the ability to monitor machines while you're away. So you can access customers, you can access prospects, you can see your calendar of events, and then again monitor machines. So if something is going down during the shift, you could see that on your phone even when you're not in the plant. You can get alerts on your phone even when you're not physically there, so that you're always kind of connected. I always have a finger on the pulse as to what's happening. So it gives you a different level of connectivity even when you're gone. And then the next thing that we do is the warehouse management. You'll notice we have two different things of that. Warehouse management, again, is something that's unique to us in that we have written that natively into our system. So as soon as you scan our code, that information is updated in our system automatically. You don't scan an hour's worth of scans and then back it into the system later. It's all real-time data, but this is for your handheld Windows-based scanners. So again, we scan the barcodes to do inventory moves, cycle counting, physical inventory, shipping and receiving product. Those types of functions are available here. You'll notice we have the text-based version, which is the black screen, and then the icon-based version, which most people are cool with today with their smartphones as well. But there's two different versions. You have the ability to run either or. Some of my customers actually run both, depending on what your users like. So you have the ability to make that choice as well. And then the last thing we'll talk about is the shop floor tablets. And the shop floor tablets are kind of a cool story. This is something that we actually manufacture in our California office. So I'm going to corny, but I like to say that we're a manufacturer that sells software. But this came about because a lot of our customers were, collecting data from the floor. That's one of our major value propositions, is that we want you to have the real-time data like I talked about. But computers may not have been the best solution for them. The tablets that came out were, fragile, or they had the tendency to kind of walk out the door with employees and that kind of thing. So we had to come up with a solution for them to give them the data that they wanted in the tablet form. So we actually worked with one of our customers to develop a rugged case. So this can be mounted anywhere in your production facility. And then we also put inputs on the bottom of it, so you can attach anything that's USB or serial connection, scanners, quality gauges and calipers and those types of things to read data right into it. And then, it gives you the ability to kind of to capture real-time data. Because we manufacture that in our California facility, we actually use Enterprise IQ on a daily basis. So it really gives us a different perspective about how the system is used in the real world, right? We do a lot of the things that our customers do as far as sourcing, material, scheduling, production. We outsource some production. We schedule labor, create the RMAs if anything ever goes wrong. So we actually get to see how our system operates in a manufacturing environment. Really makes us kind of a power user of our own system, as opposed to a lot of companies that create systems in kind of a white room where everything makes sense, and then it goes into the real world and operate the way they thought it would. So we get to see a lot of the real world functionality that happens there as we make those. Okay. All right. So now I'm going to jump into the actual Smart Page interface, the actual system, and you'll have the ability to see what that looks like. Okay. Excuse me. All right. So what we're looking at now is Smart Page. The first thing to know about Smart Page is that it is a totally customizable interface for you. You have the ability to lay it out however you want. You'll notice that I have a couple of different tabs, and I'll talk about what's on each of these as we move through. But I could have, all of these tabs kind of across the top. You could have 5 or 6 or 7 different tabs. Or we have customers that have one tab, and then all of their daily functions are underneath that one tab right here. So everything can be kind of laid out the way you like. I lay mine out based on the demos that we do, obviously, but there is a lot of flexibility here, and I'll show you how we actually set one up in just a second. It's a very easy interface to set up. So the first thing that you'll notice on my Smart Page, and this is one of the really cool features, is the plant layout, which is tied to our MES, the machine monitoring. This is a layout that a lot of our customers will actually display all the time. So they'll actually put up in the plant floor. They'll display it. A lot of their executives will display this on a flat screen in their office all day long. A lot of the plant managers will look at this. But give me a snapshot in time what's happening in the plant. Okay, it's updated in real time. So every 30 seconds this updates, and I know exactly what's happening. It is color-coded, so colors mean something. Again, green tells me that the machines are running within standard cycle. Red tells me they're running too slow. Tells me they're running too fast, which we all know is not always good. We could be making a lot of bad parts quickly. And then yellow tells me I'm down. So the thing is that different people in the organization have the ability to see what they need to see and react quickly. So my maintenance people only need to look at my machines that are down. Maybe it's unscheduled downtime and they need to move to this machine and see what's happening. Maybe my foremen are looking at my red machines and saying, why are we running slow? Let's hook up to those operators and figure out what the issue is. Or maybe if we're running too fast, what's the issue here? Maybe my quality people need to go see what's happening at my fast machine. Are we still making good parts, or is there something that we need to correct here as well? So everyone can kind of look at the machines they need to make some action against, as opposed to just walking the floor, back and forth to see what's happening. So it's a pretty neat interface. And then as we get into process monitoring, you can actually have the ability to right-click on these different machines and drill into the information. So I could jump to the schedule. If there were alarm details here, I could view those alarms. So, if we're tied in and pulling things like temperature, pressure, speed, those types of things, I could actually see when those are trending in or out of spec, how they've been running over the last hour, different data points there, and then even get alarms for those. So I could get a text message if they're moving too fast or too slow. We could do something like a voice alarm over the PA system in the floor. So there's a lot of different functionality here that gives me the ability to manage my plant floor in one view, right? Which is pretty nice. We also give you the ability to do a lot of reporting in SmartPage. Again, the idea is that everything's in one place. So we do use Crystal Reports as the reporting back end, but there are 1,200 stock reports in the system. They're all totally customizable to you, so you can take our reports and add your logo or maybe change the field or that type of thing. But you do have the ability to run them on a scheduled interval if you want. You could have this delivered to a printer every morning or have it emailed to you at the end of every week. We have the ability to build lists of reports that are interesting to us or that we need to use on a daily basis. You'll see that I've got kind of 3 reports here: a reject report with a graph, kind of an open order report, and then a corrective action report that I've created. But you have the ability to really manage how these are delivered and then how they're viewed on the screen. And then we also give you the ability to create selection criteria. Let's have one. There we go. Selection criteria on the report, so you can kind of live, in real time, change the way that you're viewing data, change date ranges and that sort of thing, so you're always kind of viewing the data, that you need to see. So we have a lot of reports in the system, but we all know that, paper reports are great. Everybody kind of lives by paper reports at this point, but as soon as I print a paper report, something changes. The data is, obsolete, the data changes. So what we really want is live data. And one of the things that we have done at IQMS is build a live BI dashboard, which is a business intelligence dashboard. It gives me the ability to read data in real time, see kind of the constant change in my plant as things are happening. So this is another opportunity where a lot of our customers are displaying this on big screens in the shop floor. They're displaying them on big screens in their conference rooms. Their executives are looking at these live and in real time. So you'll notice these just bounced in and updated. So it gives you the opportunity to see what's happening. And then the other cool thing is this is live data. So as I'm kind of looking at this, I may see something that I want to investigate further. I can double click on that and jump into the system to that specific piece of data, see what's driving it, what's happening. So we're always kind of on the same page about what's happening on the floor. Pretty nice piece of information, powerful piece of data there. Okay. And then the other thing that we talk about a lot is workflows. So workflows are not necessarily new. A lot of people do workflows at this time, but IQMS does have our own native workflow system. Workflows can be for a number of different things. We have workflows for PO requisitions or corrective actions, deviations, full kind of quality suite, document changes, and then we even give you the ability to create your own workflows. Internally at IQMS, we use them for employee onboarding. So we want them to kind of go through all the process, all the checks that need to happen for a new employee to be onboarded. But it just eliminates the paper, the kind of the snail mail system that exists in those facilities, right? So this puts information in front of me when it requires my action. I've got one expense report here. Again, this is live data, so I can click on this, see what needs to be done. Here's all the information about, this is Karen Davis's expense report. I can see what she did, where she went, and then from this screen either authorize or deny it based on what needs to be done. So Again, that can be done for a number of different things in the system. You would only see the approvals that require attention at the time that they require your attention. So it's a pretty nice piece of functionality that keeps everyone on the same page, keeps the ball kind of moving forward throughout your facility, and eliminates the opportunity for us to drop the ball as papers kind of get shuffled and lost. So, and then the last thing we'll talk about on SmartPage is my IQMS. So IQMS is our online user community. It's a very vibrant community where our users kind of gather and share information. They talk about best practices. They share reports that they've created, those types of things, enter software enhancements as they want them. So, you know, a lot of our customers are on this on a daily basis. It gives you a nice kind of finger on the pulse of IQMS, and then also with your fellow customers. So that's something that's nice to access through Sage as well. Okay. We talked about setting up a new dashboard. To set up a new dashboard is a very easy process. You notice I click the tab just like I'm on a web browser that any of us are familiar with. And then we use the icons in the top here to select the things that we want to see. So I may want to see the workflow again, or maybe I want to add another widget to see, you know, what's happening outside. So I can add the weather widget. Looks like I'm not online there, so it's not going to load. But tell the system where I want that widget to sit on the screen, start to build different quadrants or different tiles, and set this up the way that I want to set it up. So you'll notice how easy that was, pretty quick to set up. Makes using the system very nice. Okay. So that's SmartPage, and now let's jump into an actual module to see more about how the system kind of functions day to day. So I'm going to jump into a sales order module, and then we'll go from there. You'll notice that the modules that I use on a daily basis are laid out on the left-hand side of the screen. So these are the things that we traditionally jump to in a demo. Obviously, it's just a hyperlink there. As I open the sales orders module, what you'll see is a pick list. So this is what you'll see anytime you open a module in our system. This is very Excel-centric, so you have the ability to sort on any of these columns. I can click the top of them and sort. I can view this data the way that I, as a specific user, wanted to view it. So maybe the company is more important to me, so I can reorganize these columns. I can change them around, see who took the order, do those types of things. I can search on any column here in the top search. So maybe I want to see only things that are for BMW, for instance. There's all my BMW orders. And then we also give you the ability to do advanced searching. So I can click on the advanced search and say, show me only BMW's orders that were taken by a certain person, that type of thing. So it gives you a lot of ability to kind of parse data as you move into a module. And then as you parse that data, we can right-click and export that directly to Excel. So that's a nice functionality, a nice piece of functionality. If I'm in a hurry, you know, let's say I'm running into a meeting, I don't have to create a new report. I don't have to ask someone to go into, you know, a different piece of the system and print something for me. I can just export this list directly out, run into the meeting, give the people, give my supervisors the information that they need. You know, maybe we're looking for everything that we're doing with BMW at some time. So it's a very quick opportunity to get data out. Okay. I'm going to jump into any sales order here. All right. So this is the sales order screen, and I'm actually going to go to order that has some more information. You'll notice it's laid out in 3 sections. The first top section here is our customer information. Most of this information would populate from kind of the customer master, obviously, and then we can make a lot of this information mandatory if we needed to. So things like a PO number or entering the terms could be mandatory if we wanted our customer service reps to enter that data, which is pretty nice. The middle section here, we've got the item master section where we see what we're actually going to sell in the sales order, and then the bottom of the screen, bottom third of the screen, we've got the individual releases. So I like to think about the sales order screen as my customer service rep's window into the manufacturing floor. There's a lot of data packed into one place here, and then we give you the opportunity to drill even into further data. So let's say a customer calls in and they say, you know, we didn't get the shipment of the order that you're saying that you shipped. So we say, okay, I can right-click, which is something that you'll see all over our system, is the ability to right-click. You can right-click here, view more information about the sales order. You'll notice here's a shipments information, so I can immediately jump to see all shipments that were sent against this sales order. From here, I could right-click again and jump into the packing slip. So I could jump directly to the packing slip, see the tracking number on that shipment. If I needed to, even print this and email it directly to our customer, so they could get the packing slip again, see that information, see the tracking number, and run down, where that shipment is. We know it already left our dock. So you'll notice it's very easy for me to get to data, very easy for me to jump from one place to the next. The data is kind of always at my fingertips, which is really what we're looking for at IQMS. It's one of the things that makes our system very easy to use. We can do the same thing on the invoice. Again, the customer calls and says, "Lost that invoice, can you resend it to me?" Again, it's just a right-click, jump to the invoice. All the information that I need to kind of handle that as a customer service rep is in one place. So in a lot of systems where we have disparate, packages or disparate systems, I may have to go ask someone else for that information. I may have to go to another system and kind of run it down. It may take me a lot of time. There may be multiple phone calls that kind of happen there. So we're eliminating all of that by tying everything together in IQMS. So that's one way that we say one way that I say it's the window into the shop floor. The other way is that I also get information about where my product is in the manufacturing process. So again, let's say my customer calls in and says, when can you deliver that product? Or you gave me this promise date. What's happening? As a customer service rep, I have the ability to come down. I can click on the work order information and see where we're at any one point in the process. So this is all the work orders that have actually been created for that sales order. I can see all of the parts that are made as sub-assemblies and the final assembly. If I had anything that wasn't in the shop, I have a little red flag that told me I didn't have it. I can double-click on any of these items and see what the lead time is, see how much we have on hand, get a real feel for where we're at in the production of that item. And then up in the top, I can see, which work center is it scheduled on? Is it already scheduled in a specific position? When's the must start? When will it end? Gives me a lot of information about the production of that part that I may not have with a lot of other systems. Most systems I have to get up, I have to walk down, I have to talk to the production supervisor, talk to my scheduler, figure out where we're at. Well, IQMS, you get one screen, it's one window. You have the ability to go out and really see what's happening and then communicate that to your customer in real time. So it's really nice to be able to do that in one phone call as opposed to having to run all that information down. The other cool thing is as we're making the parts, I'll get a status bar. So, if I make 50% of the parts that are made, I'll have a status bar that say 50%. So your customers say, hey, we asked for 1,000 of those by next Friday, but we really need 500 today. As a customer service rep, I can look out and say, well, we're 50% through. We've got the 500. Yeah, I can send that to you. So, again, you have the ability to kind of make a decision right there as opposed to waiting and talking to someone else. And trying to figure out, what we can do. So it's a really powerful piece of information. It's a nice kind of screen that gives me the ability to see a lot of different pieces of information about the sales order and effectively communicate with my customer. So there are a couple of other things that you'll see throughout the system. I'll always have icons at the top of my screen that give me some quick access to other pieces of data. Maybe my customer's calling in and they're trying to beat me up for an additional discount or something like that, or they want to know how much they've bought with us in the past year, or something to that effect. I can easily come up and click on customer status. I can see all of the outstanding invoices, or I have the ability to go into a sales analysis and see, what have you bought? What did you buy with us last year in May? I can double click there and see that information. There's all the data, or I can see a graph view, right? So I can see what they bought. Is it worth us giving a discount? Is there a lot of volume here? What are we actually doing with this customer? So again, quick access. We really want this to be easy for your customer service reps to get the data into the system. And then again, something you'll see throughout the system is user fields and documents. So you'll always see kind of a general tab in user fields and documents. User fields give you the ability to enter data that we may not have thought about. Obviously, IQMS knows we're not going to think of everything for every customer, so you have the ability to build, different forms. You can right-click and change this to whatever you want. I'll say it's Russell's data. Change that, capture the data that you need to capture for, your sales order, your customer service reps, whatever it is. And then we also have the ability to build individual forms. So you can make, capture date information or capture specific drop-down lists or those types of things. So some more functionality, some more flexibility to capture the data that you need. And then you'll also always see a Documents tab. The Documents tab makes capturing data and kind of reconciling a lot of different documents and files really easy. So you have the internal documents, which is kind of like just a WordPress. You can just type whatever you want in there. We have external documents, which give you the ability to attach any external file. So we've got an external PDF here. We've got a JPEG, so it's a picture. But you can attach anything, maybe a customer sales contract or that type of thing. You can attach documents. And then we also have the email correspondence. So email correspondence is a drag and drop functionality. I can drag email directly into the system. And then even if I delete from my email inbox, the system saves it. So I could actually open one of these and have a live kind of Outlook opportunity where I can reply to it and change it, even if it's been deleted, from out. So again, a nice way to kind of keep everything in one place, keep my history together, and make sure that everyone's on the same page. Okay. So the other thing that we talk about a lot in our system is color coding. You'll notice that there are a number of colors on the screen. Anytime you see colors, there will be color chips in the top right section of that screen. We'll be able to hover over there and I can tell you what it means. So this yellow tells me obviously that this item is on ship hold. Down in the bottom section, green tells me something's been shipped in full. Yellow tells me it's been partially shipped. This purple, it's kind of remaining to be shipped. So again, everything's about really quick information, putting everything in one place and giving you the opportunity to make as many decisions as you need to pretty quickly. Okay, so that's a really quick overview of a sales order. Really puts everything in kind of perspective for your customer service rep. Like I said, it's really the window into the shop floor for you. So the other thing that we want to talk about today is the schedule. We know that specifically some of our Sage users, like I said, it's an accounting package traditionally. It doesn't always tie so well to the manufacturing floor. So one of the big benefits for IQMS is that all the manufacturing is tied together. So we said that the sales order is my window into the manufacturing floor. The cool thing about our schedule is it ties everywhere else as well. So as a master scheduler, as a production supervisor, from the schedule, I have all of the information that I need in one place, as opposed to having to go to a lot of different people, a lot of different systems to see what's happening. So what we're looking at now is the actual schedule. This is for one machine. So I'm looking at WorkCenter 01. This is a Toshiba 100 machine, and these are the jobs that we have already scheduled on that machine. Again, the color codes mean something. So green tells me in this screen that the job should be finished on time to ship. Red tells me that it's late. Yellow tells me that the machine that there's downtime scheduled, and then blue is forecasted work order. Okay, so there's a lot of information that's being displayed here. The other great thing about this is it is a real-time schedule. So as I move jobs around, I see the impact immediately. So if I take this job at the bottom and try to move it up into the schedule, I can see that it has an immediate impact on all the other jobs here. So I already know that, that's probably not the best move for me to make as a scheduler. Although we know that there are sometimes that maybe that's my best customer and we're going to run that job no matter what. We don't really care if it's going up late. We're going to run it because our best customer needs to be finished. So you do get the ability to see, in real time, very quickly, kind of what the impact of the schedule is. Everything here is really easy to manipulate. So you saw that was drag and drop. To add a new job, I click the add button here, and again, drag a job, drop it into the schedule. Very easy. I can see the work orders that are unscheduled. This is everything that has to be run, and then I drop it into the schedule wherever I want to. So I drop it into the middle as well. And again, see the immediate impact of what's happening there. So very easy to manipulate. Again, the other thing that I said is this is really my window into everything else that's happening in the facility. There are a number of pieces of data that I may need as a scheduler. You'll notice on the right-hand side of the screen here, I can open what we call the Bulletin Board. Bulletin Board is everything that I need to know about this one machine or this one job. So these are, again, entered by you, obviously. Gives you the ability to communicate with your shop floor users. That's displayed on the shop floor. It could be displayed on a real-time monitor. Everyone's on the same page at all times. So we have customers that use these for quality alerts. We have people that use them for different types of information going out to the floor. But it gives me the ability to enter information and then push that to everyone else so that all of us are on the same page in real time. You know, sometimes that information may not be communicated until later in the shift or at a shift meeting or something like that, but we can communicate this data as it happens. The other thing that we have the ability to do is see any quality exceptions. So as a scheduler, I may need to know if we have an open deviation or we're working a corrective action with this item. So I click on any of the quality items that are associated with this part. I can see corrective action. I can see engineering change orders, MRBs, any deviations. And if I needed to, again, I can right-click and jump to that record, see what's happening, and make a decision about how we're going to run that part. So pretty nice piece of information there. And then as we move back into the actual schedule, there's other pieces of information that are important. So we can communicate priority notes. I can update that and again push this to the work order. Make sure that everyone's on the same page about what's happening. You know, maybe a customer request, maybe an internal note. When we talk about the downtime, I have the ability to see what the maintenance guys are doing. So you see this is downtime. It says MRO in the parentheses. So this tells me that my maintenance people are going to do something with this machine. I can again right-click, jump directly to that MRO work order, and see all the things that they have to do. So they're doing their kind of their preventative maintenance tasks. But I can see it's going to be down for 11 hours or 12 hours. So we make judgment calls about when's the best time to put that in the schedule. As we move over to the tooling, I can see that specific tooling may be in or out for maintenance. So this tells me on this job I'm using this F115 tool. I can double click on that and then jump to the MRO record again and see this tool's out of service from these dates and here's the issue, right? Major problem, whatever that is. But as a scheduler, I get to be able to see what's happening with the tool. Do I expect that to be back before this job runs, or is it something that I need to make some sort of accommodation for on this job? But we need to talk about doing kind of an alternate or using a different tool to run this part at any time. So you get the ability to see that information as well. And then the last thing we'll talk about is on the individual sales order. So down at the bottom, I can see all of these sales orders because they have this kind of olive color. They have notes on them. So you may use this note field to communicate information from the customer service rep to the production scheduler. So everyone's again on the same page. So everything you see here really is about tying all the data together. So as a production scheduler, I can see if my customer service rep's giving me a note, I can see where my maintenance people are running preventative maintenance. If I have other downtime, I can see maybe a tool's out of service. In other systems, it's very difficult for me to kind of consolidate all in one place because it may be 2 or 3 different systems or maybe 2 or 3 different people that are doing that. In IQMS, it's about putting all that data in front of one person and allowing them to make the decisions they need to make, as their job dictates. So that's kind of the scheduling system. Makes it, again, really easy for me to run the plant, and we did run through that pretty quickly. I know we're running right up on the 45-minute time. So, Steve, I'll turn it back over to you and see if there's any questions.
Okay, there are a couple questions. One thing for me, could you do 30 seconds on bill of materials?
Yeah, so one of the cool things about IQMS is that we know that we do serve different customers, right? We have guys that do plastics. We have customers that are doing metal fabrication and stampers and all these different types of manufacturing. So we said, all those guys need different information for the different processes. So we split our bills of manufacture out into manufacturing specific bills of materials. So for my injection customers, right, we have an opportunity to capture regrind and primary materials and cavitation and family tooling and those types of things. If it's a more labor-based process, maybe I'm looking at throughput and labor capacity and those types of things. So bills are very specific to the types of manufacturing that we're doing.
Okay, and I've got a question from Ed. Ed, is there an Ed with a question?
Yes. Is the line open?
Yes, it is.
Okay, I'm sorry. I didn't realize the line had opened. Yes, this is Ed from Oakstone Group. I'm curious, are you able to, when a customer calls and says, I have a job and I know you've got releases, but they're under the gun to perform a special way for their customer, that if they say, I need this one moved ahead of the other jobs, can the scheduling tool adjust the other work order around it and in essence respond automatically to that prioritization of one particular job?
Yeah, so we have the ability to expedite jobs. We can expedite on the front end from the customer service perspective, or in the scheduling module, we can, as I move one work order, if it has dependent work orders or child work orders, I'll also get notifications about those needing to be moved, and we'll make all of the necessary changes to the other jobs in the schedule so that we see immediately what the impact is.
Okay, thanks.
All right, thanks. And then Ian can.
Hi, this is Ian from Pacific Medical. I just had a question about lot traceability. So we, at our facility, we have so many requirements when it comes to lot traceability. Being able to just trace these lot numbers and serial numbers all the way back to raw material. So can you tell me how IQMS handles that?
Yeah, so we do have a full lot and serial traceability. We can trace things from the time they're received, the raw material lot, all the way through to the finished goods. And then we do things like give you the ability to do lot traceability and reverse lot trees, so I can see all the raw materials that go into a finished good, or I can see all of the finished goods that were made from one raw material, right? So I can see it both ways. But we have a lot of our customers that are very, that have a lot of high traceability needs. We deal a lot in automotive. We deal a lot in medical. Even in food and beverage. You guys have to have the traceability. We do that every day. It's something that's pretty core to our system.
Well, then I think we've taken the questions that we have, and we are at the time thing. Appreciate everybody's attention, Russell. We appreciate the excellent overview of the product. We appreciate everybody's attendance, and hope to see you on the business front in the near future. So thank you, everybody, and thanks again, Russell, and all you prospects and customers. Thank you.